Hi, I'm Kate and welcome to my channel. So I just got this bad boy in the mail. This is from Alter Ego. It is the Blooms palette and it's supposed to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Love palette. I passed on the Love palette. This color story isn't 100% me, but I like it and Valentine's Day is coming up, so the $65 price tag, that wasn't gonna happen for me with this color story, but I did pick this up for $16. I just got it yesterday. It does have a bit of a like chemical smell to it. I've heard great things about Alter Ego from creators like Butte Bean and I think Julia Mazzucato and several others that really, you know, talk highly of the brand. I've been seeing reviews come in about this palette and so far not so good. I did swatch the whole palette yesterday and I'll insert a picture here, but that's like 4 goes at each color, so it took a lot to build up. I'm hoping it performs better on the eyes than through swatches. I know swatches don't always mean much, but you know, the packaging is really nice. It has weight to it. The mirror is nice. Like, it's packaged like a high-end palette. It's beautiful. So I'm very curious how it's going to perform. I'm not sure which way I want to go. Like, my initial thought yesterday was this really pretty deep purple, but I can like dig into it and I mean, and it's not hard panned. It's just like barely there. So I'm not going to be using that shade. So I'm thinking maybe I will dip into a few of the shimmers like in this middle row. Maybe use some of these kind of more red shades and the violet to deepen it up. So I don't know. We'll see. And then the other really deep shade, Black Dahlia, that's here. Let's see. That's not bad. It is kind of a satin shade though. It's not matte, but it's not shimmery. It's just kind of a satin shade. And I don't really like satin shades, but we'll see what happens. All right, so I think I'm going to start deep. I'm going to start with violet and just start building that up in the outer corner and on the crease. And I should say I did go in and prime my eyes off camera, so I do have eye primer laid down. Alright, I was just hoping for a lot richer than that. Probably gonna have to edit out quite a bit because it's going to take me a long time to build this up to a point where I'm happy. All right, I think I'm gonna stop there on this color. It built up okay. So let's see, what do I want to go into? I think I'll go into Azalea. Up here, it's kind of a pretty coral shade, and I'm going to kind of lay that down on the edges and buff it out. I do like how that color laid down. I am going to pop back into that purple though to just try to get a little more deepness. Alright, I mean, I'm not hating it. I do just wish there was more pigmentation. It takes a lot of work with both of these shades just to get them to move where I want them to. So I think just based on swatching of the shimmers, it took a lot to build up. So I'm gonna go in with some NYX glitter glue, or glitter primer, just so I can have a better base to try to get as much out of these shimmers as I can. it's like I'm doing a cut crease without really doing a cut crease. So again, like so far I don't hate it. I just, like, knowing how people have reacted to products from this brand before, I'm surprised that it's not better yet. So I'm definitely not going into that Orchid Deep Purple shade, but I'm thinking I'll maybe focus with these two. So this one is Fuchsia. So that's pretty. Maybe I'll put that on the outer corner, and then Petunia. Okay, that's pretty. Kind of duochrome-y, actually. And put that on the inner part of the lid. So let's go on in. Alright, that's actually really pretty. Alright, those are actually nice. Alright, so they swatched horribly, but they actually look pretty on the eye. Okay, that's pretty. Alright, so I'm going to go back into that dark violet shade and just blend out the edges again. Okay, what are we thinking? It's very Valentine's-y, which is kind of what I was hoping for. It's February now, so I do want to see if I can build up that Petunia shade. So I'm going to grab a flat brush, pick it up on a brush, and spray it to just see if I can get even more impact. Yeah, alright, so it picked up on a brush. Alright, so what are we thinking? Do I just stop there, stop messing with it? Right, I actually don't hate it right now. After swatching it yesterday and after seeing a few reviews come in, I was really not that excited to play with it, but those shimmers are actually really pretty on the eye, really shimmery. Hopefully they have lasting power. So I'm going to stop there on the lids. I'm going to go off camera and do my skincare foundation, and I'll be back. Alright, once I get my foundation and stuff on, it looks intense, but I'm not mad at it. These shimmers are actually really pretty, way better on the eyes than swatched, so that's exciting. After swatching it the other day, I really thought that this was going to be way more disappointing than it is. Let's bronze up a little bit. So I'm going to dip into my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. I have the shade Fair. I'm just going to warm up my face a little bit. Alright, for blush today, I'm going to go into my Becca. It's actually a bronzer, but it is the shade Maui Nights. So I'm going to grab a pretty big fluffy brush. And then I'm going to go in with some finishing powder just around the edges of the blush and down the center of my face. Okay, we're just going to do a little light highlight today. I have the Ofra highlighter in the shade Glazed Donut. But I'm going to dive back into the palette. So on the lower lash line, I think I'm going to build up the shade Violet, and then I'll buff it out with Azalea, just like I did with the mattes on the top. If my eye stops watering. Gosh, this palette does smell kind of funky though, but I've heard that from a few people. So if you've used Alter Ego before, let me know if that's a regular thing. Is it just the factory where they're made? And I know people have a lot of feelings about like dupe brands, and I've always been very anti-dupe brands, but like if I see like a Natasha Denona palette and I love the color story, I'm going to save up and get that one. However, this one, the color story wasn't worth it to me, so I wasn't planning on picking it up no matter what, whether this came out or not. So I feel like me buying this palette didn't take away anything from Natasha Denona, because I wasn't going to buy the Love palette anyways. And I think that's kind of the case with a lot of these. Like the people that really want to support the high-end luxury brand, they're not going to buy this. So, I mean, I don't know how much it really is taking away from the original, but I mean, it is what it is. Not everyone supports that. I'm gonna take a little fluffier brush and dip into Azalea and buff out that purple shade. And then for the inner corner highlight, so we did the shade Petunia on the inner part of the lid, and that is really pretty. I could go in with that, or the shade Lily is a lighter gold. You know, I'm gonna dip into Petunia again, and if that's not enough, then I'll go into Lily. So it's pretty, but I think I just want more brightness, so I think I'm gonna grab my Ofra highlighter and just throw some highlight over that. And I still keep kind of that pinky tone, but it just brightens it a little bit. Alright, so that's how we're looking right now. I think I'm gonna go off camera and do liner and mascara. I'll find something for the lips and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. What do you think? So I'm actually pleasantly surprised after swatching it yesterday and being extremely disappointed in that. I mean, there are some duds in here, that's for sure, especially a couple of the deeper shades, but I think I achieved some level of depth, and the shimmers actually are beautiful on the eye, so I'm happy with those. They applied fine dry with the finger, they applied fine wet with the brush, so not bad. For liner, I went in with a Stila liner. For mascara, I went in with the Bite Beauty. Obsessed with this mascara. And for lips, I went in just with a ColourPop lip liner and then a Velvet Blur lipstick. And this is the shade California Love. So, yeah. So yeah, kind of my initial thoughts on this are that it swatches terribly, but it performs okay. I enjoy the look that I came up with. This is, I think, a really nice palette for Valentine's Day. I got kind of a more sultry pink look. You can go fairly neutral with the shimmers. There aren't really any neutral mattes to go with the shimmers other than this one, but I wish that it's these two shades, Orchid and Black Dahlia, that are kind of like, they're more satiny, not a shimmer, not a matte, but they're not great shades. They're just not great. But I stuck here with the shimmers and they worked fine. Violet took some building up, but in the end I did get that depth. I tried this matte and it blended out really pretty. So I am curious, maybe next time I'll dive into the reds and kind of see how those perform, because I did stick very like pinky purple today. Not a bad first impression. So thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you soon.